I'm going to walk you through part 2 of your final exam, which is the prompt selection notes that you need to complete. So in this video, I'm just going to go through all of the things you need to do. I'm doing it through Microsoft Word. If you do it through Google, then you need to handle whatever you need to handle in Google in terms of formatting. So this is supposed to be done in MLA format. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up first. And then we will get started. Okay. So you're going to have your heading, of course, and then you'll also have your header as well. And your header should have your last name and the page number. So make sure you add that as well. Okay. And then your title for the assignment should be centered. It should be Times New Roman 12-point font. And I'm going to do prompt selection notes. And then I'm going to go through, and you can see that I have on this side all the questions that you guys have to complete. So number 1 was write out the prompt. This is the prompt this is actually prompt number 6 from the drama prompts. And I'll just read it real quick. So, drama, even in its darkest moment, underscores the strength of the human spirit. How and to what extent is this true of at least 2 of the plays you have studied? So that's the prompt that I'm going to do. Now I need to put it into my own words. So for this particular prompt, I think that what it's really talking about is, especially the part that's in quotes, is people's abilities to overcome. So I'm going to say, dramas oftentimes people's abilities to overcome this results in various characters showing strength during dark times. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I might come back to it in a little bit and add something else. So for this particular prompt, I definitely feel like easily, I think The Crucible is one, and I think I would probably do Othello. I don't necessarily know that I could answer this question with Broken Calabash or Lizzie Borden, simply because I feel like those plays don't have an ending where you see anybody really stepping up and doing more. They are dark and they stay dark in a sense. And then why did I select these plays? Number 4, The Crucible, I think, has several characters who overcome the circumstances that the court cases bring about in society. John Proctor, for example, decides to his life and essentially save his friends in order to stand up to the court cases and prove his innocence and die with dignity. So I think in this case, in this instant, John Proctor really showcases the agility, of the human spirit, in the sense that, he's about to die and he's about to lose everything, and yet he's still standing up and fighting for what is right, and, sticking up for his friends, and just really getting to the heart of who he is as a person and what's valuable and what's important to him. So I think he's a great character. And then the second play, Othello, in the play Othello, the character Emilia showcases her bravery at the end of the play. And I think this is the moment where you can kind of see that regardless of circumstance, she realizes she's going to die, that her husband is obviously going to injure her. And even if he doesn't kill her immediately in that moment, she knows something bad is going to happen to her. She kind of hints at that. So in the play Othello, the character Emilia showcases her bravery at the end of the play when she decides to go against her husband and share the truth about what he has done and the lies he's spread. And then, of course, you need to make sure that you italicize the titles of the plays, because MLA format requires that you italicize the name of texts, so you want to make sure you do that as well. And I think also the prompt is talking about how and to what extent is this true. So I would go back to saying, so this results in various characters showing strength at dark times. This oftentimes also encompasses the play's overall theme message and I'm going to put in parentheses, when characters stand up for themselves or for the people they love. And the reason I say that is because how and to what extent is it true? I think it's to what extent is to where they go above and beyond to really showcase the feelings that they have about justice or about innocence. And so I'm going to go back to question number 4. John Proctor also has a speech about his name and the value of a person's name and their reputation. And this is important because it's one of the major themes in the play. The idea of going against everyone in order to do what is right. And I think another character that you could talk about with this particular play is Hale, and I'm going to mention that as well. Reverend John Hale, I believe it is, of Beverly, hopefully I'm spelling that right, also showcases his ability to do the right thing in dark times, and when it is not the popular action. And then if I go back down to the Othello play, I would also say that in a sense, I would say maybe Othello kind of showcases that ability to do what's right in a dark time, or to, to think above and beyond. You also have Cassio at the end. But for me, Emilia is the one character who, it's the darkest of moments. Everything is falling apart around her. She could easily just walk out, but yet she decides to die for her friend. And to be quite honest with you, they're not even that good of friends, Emilia and Desdemona. They've become closer throughout the play. But if you're thinking about timeline, they haven't known each other that long, because they weren't familiar with each other before they left Venice, simply because Desdemona married Othello right before they left Venice and go toward Cyprus to fight the war against the Turks. So they become familiar on the ship over from Venice, and they start to kind of talk and whatnot. So she gives everything up in order to really do what's right. And I think that goes really back to the gist of the prompt, which is the darkest moments, strength of the human spirit. And I think you would have to define the strength of the human spirit. Okay, so strength, I'm going to add that here. Strength being defined as having the ability to do what is right, even when it is not popular, or when it will result in pain for the main character. Not the main character, but for the character. So with some of these prompts, it's a little bit tricky in the sense that you're going to need to look at all the different aspects. So, what does human spirit mean? What does strength mean? How is it shown, right? And then in what regard is it shown? And then you're going to have to kind of really break it out and prove it. And this ends up being a page and like a sentence. And that's just because I went over just a little bit. So once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and save it to wherever you need to save it, and then you should be good. So I'm going to put part 2, sample, prompt notes. Okay, hopefully this was helpful for you, and I'll do a part 3 video as well to kind of help you guys see and work through that part as well.